My name is Ingrid Gordon. I live in Queens, New York. I am a student in a class at LaGuardia Community College called International Tourist Destinations, and this is my presentation on the Star Trek Original Series set tour in Ticonderoga, New York. So my presentation will feature a brief introduction to myself, an overview of the destination, a synopsis of the Star Trek stories, a discussion of whether or not the destination is realistic, the pros and cons of this site, and the impact on local tourism and destination management, and also a conclusion and a list of sources. So, as I said, I am a resident of Queens, New York. I also have family in Montreal, and I personally visited this site in 2017. So where is this site? So in the fictional Star Trek stories, we are a member of the United Federation of Planets, and the Star Trek featured prominently the Starship Enterprise. Now, the Star Trek original set tour, as I said, is in Ticonderoga, New York, which is a small town in the Adirondacks. Now, getting to Ticonderoga is a bit tricky. It's about 4.5 hours from New York City, maybe 2 or 3 hours from Montreal by car. There's no direct rail connection, and there are some regional airports such as Albany, New York, Burlington, Vermont, maybe Montreal, but it is somewhat isolated, and probably the best way to get there is by car and to spend some time in upstate New York while you're there. So probably you've heard of Star Trek. If not, I don't know what planet you're from, but this destination is based on the original Star Trek series, which was filmed from 1966 to 69, and also a fan-based web series that was filmed from 2008 to 15, which I will be telling you more about. So the original Star Trek series, the main characters are Spock and Captain Kirk, and a variety of other characters, and their mission was to explore the universe and to go where no one has gone before. And it had a major impact on the genre of science fiction. Even though the series initially was not very successful, it spurred many spin-offs and really inspired a whole other genre of science fiction television. Now, here is the history of the destination I'm talking about, the Star Trek original set tour. So the main character in this story is James Cawley, who was born in Ticonderoga, New York. He is a major Star Trek fan and an Elvis impersonator. That is his day job. And as a teenager, he formed a friendship with Bill Thesis, who is the head costume designer for the original Star Trek series. And as a result of that, he had a brief internship on the Star Trek Next Generation series. However, he returned to upstate New York after that to pursue a career as an Elvis impersonator. When Bill Thesis died in 1992, he actually gave Cawley several blueprints for the set design, and he used those to painstakingly recreate the set of the original series in Port Henry, New York, and started filming his first fan episode in 2004, Come What May. That set was then moved to Ticonderoga in 2015, which is its current location. And from 2004 to 16, Cawley and his friends filmed 11 full-length web fan episodes. He stars in as Captain Kirk in some of the early ones, and then went on to produce all the other series. And some of these fan based series feature major stars like Walter Koenig and George Takei from the original series. Unfortunately, they ran into some intellectual property issues, and in 2016, CBS and Paramount issued new intellectual property rules that limited the filming of these fan series. However, as a concession, the Ticonderoga Star Trek original set tour was licensed as an official CBS attraction. Now, the question is this a realistic depiction? The answer is yes, because Colley used the original blueprints. He had access to that information, and he and his friends painstakingly recreated the original set in every possible detail, and they went to great lengths to source materials that would give it that authenticity. Everything you can see the original bridge. They managed to source an original captain's chair, and even details such as the famous Jeffries tube were recreated. And he preserved that curved hallway that a lot of science fiction series use to create the illusion of a larger space than they really have. So absolutely, it is a realistic depiction. What are some of the pros of this destination? Well, it is special interest tourism at its best. There's a huge built-in fan base of Trekkies, and even though it's situated in the Adirondacks, it really is a unique experience, and really it sets it apart from other tourist destinations in the area. And another major pro of this site is it's become a focal point for major stars and actors such as William Shatner, basically come for appearances and special events at this destination. And so it's become a huge focal point of a Trekkie interest. It also, one of the pros of the destination is it provides employment for locals, and there's a lot of cross-pollination with other tourist destinations. But really what sets it apart, what makes this a great destination, is the loving attention to detail. I would say there's not too many cons, but the major one is it's a somewhat isolated location. There is a Ticonderoga airport, but commercial flights don't fly there. So if you're coming from farther away, you would probably want to fly into Albany or Montreal or Plattsburgh or New York and rent a car. Also, I feel like for how great this destination is, it should have higher visibility. So maybe they're limited as far as their marketing capacity. But I feel like this is something that should have greater, frankly, international visibility. And many people in New York State, at least down here in the city, don't know about this destination. So I think more people should know about this. That is the major con. Now, I had a brief interview with Matt at the Ticonderoga Chamber of Commerce to find out a little bit more about the economic and tourist impact. And this site brings 12 to 14,000 annual visitors. It provides direct employment for a number of local residents. And these visitors to this site have shown great increase in foot traffic in the downtown area, which has brought benefits to local retailers and restaurants. And they've also been able to leverage cross-pollination with other historic sites and museums such as Crown Point and Fort Ticonderoga. I initially was skeptical about the capacity to handle the influx of visitors in this area, but Matt assured me this is not a problem. There's a variety of lodging options in the area, anything from branded hotels to mom and pop motels, and of course Airbnb and cottages. And furthermore, just a little bit down the road, there's a Silver Bay YMCA, which is on 600 acres and has 625 room capacity. So this is basically a regional convention center that can be used if necessary. A few destination management lessons. So I think one of the things that makes this site great is it's distinct from other Adirondack activities in the area. But again, as I said before, it has a low national profile, which I attribute to a marketing challenge. It is marketed by New York State Tourism and Adirondack Tourism, but again, does not seem to be that well known with the general public, because I think a Star Trek fan base represents a large number of people internationally, and they should be harnessed more. another potential tie-in could be there are larger regional destinations in the Adirondacks, such as Lake Placid and Lake George, and Ticonderoga is not so far from those places. So possibly there could be a partnership formed with those locations. Another benefit of this site is that it's really a year-round draw, unlike outdoor tourism. It's not dependent on weather. In fact, I went to visit this site when I was camping in the area, and it was a great rainy day activity. One major challenge are the intellectual property issues with CBS and Paramount. You would not want to get in their way and find yourself on the wrong side of a lawsuit. In conclusion, my first personal visit with my family took place in 2017, and for years I've been saying I really want to go back to this museum. And frankly, it's an easy side trip if you're driving from New York City to Montreal or vice versa. All you have to do is spend one more night in upstate New York. So I would really encourage everybody who has an interest in this topic or is spending time in the Adirondacks to check out the Star Trek set tour in Ticonderoga. And here are some of the sources I used for this presentation. The site itself, StarTrek.com mentions this. It's mentioned in the general press and in sites on Adirondack tourism. And here's a few Wikipedia articles about James Cawley and the Star Trek New Voyages fan series. And lastly, I want to thank Matt at the Ticonderoga Chamber of Commerce, who spoke with me on the phone on June 12th, 2026. Thank you for listening, and you really should give this place a visit. It's a great site. You won't regret going there.